This investment strategy is proven to cut out the noise and help investors make profit consistently again and again. And I'm going to give it to you for free. Thank me later. My name's Jack, and I make videos to help you build wealth and actually keep that wealth. These markets move very fast, most people lose. So if you haven't already, click that subscribe button now so you never miss another trading signal. In this video, we're going to be talking about ICP, but more specifically, we're going to be looking at two free indicators that you can use right now on ICP to make sure you're buying at the right times. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you a strategy on how you can get early exit signals when things go wrong, so you never have to watch your portfolio go to zero again. So all that and more, let's jump in. So firstly, we're going to talk about the time frame because this is quite important. So this strategy will work best on the weekly time frame. So if you pull up your chart on ICP here or any asset, just go up, change the time frame to 1 week. Next up, we're going to apply two indicators. So the first indicator, indicator number one, we're going to be using an EMA band, which is what you see right here. So I have this set to the 21 EMA and the 34. This is the strategy that I found works best for altcoins. And rule number one here is that we do not want to be involved in holding any asset when it's below this EMA band, because generally speaking, not always, but most of the time, when price is below here, it's downside is the most probable outcome. So we look to change our bias when we see a breakout above this EMA band on the weekly time frame. And as you can see, it actually is quite a good strategy, and the signal does not happen a lot. So you're not actively trading, because I know a lot of my viewers don't want to be actively trading. I can see where you're coming from. It can be pretty chaotic, but this is not a common signal, so the breakouts are quite rare. But when you see the breakout above this EMA band, it means you're likely due for many months of strong price action. It doesn't always happen like that, but for the risk to reward, that's generally what you have to assume. Otherwise, you can be missing out. But we don't just take it on one indicator, we take it on two. So we look for confluence then with our RSI. So I've also got our RSI here, just the standard setting, no changes at all, still the RSI 14. And what you're looking for here, guys, is whenever you see the breakout above the EMA band, you're also looking for confluence within the RSI, because unlike other indicators, even the EMA band, unlike other indicators, the RSI is a leading indicator, so there is no delay, there's no lag. So whenever you see the RSI also breaking above this white line, which is the 50% line, the midline, if you see that breakout above this white line here, along with your breakout above the EMA band, that's a good sign that you're going to go on a proper rally and you're going to make a lot of money. And basically the midline here is very interesting, because a lot of people use the RSI as sort of overbought or oversold, and while that does work sometimes, it doesn't. There's many times it doesn't work. Whereas if you use it instead as taking basically the midline as the dividing line of your bias, basically, so when price breaks above the midline, you have to flip bullish. When price flips below it, you have to flip bearish, and that is a good signal, guys, to sort of keep you in and out of trouble. So when you get the EMA band break along with the RSI, you know that's a signal that you have to take seriously. So it's happened there in October of 23. You saw the same signal play out here in November 24, right before that big rally. Now ICP has limited data, but I can show you some other examples. So let's look at Chainlink. And before we go any further, guys, if you haven't already, please do remember to hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, try my best to give you some value here that will help you make money. So you can see here, again, this is Chainlink, so we've got a little bit more price action here. So if we look at even the prior cycle, so if we look here, guys, you're looking for the breakout above the EMA band along with our RSI. Now, it doesn't work every time here, right? Especially when you go out for multiple years of data, but you can see all these big rallies do start with this breakout, right? And you can see when you break above the EMA band, generally you're going for a rally. It keeps you out of these horrible bear markets, which you want to do, because these destroy your capital, like these empty your portfolio, and it's pretty soul crushing to watch your portfolio go to zero, you know, when you're sitting watching this downtrend. So your entry signal we have just talked about there is breaking above the EMA band here with your RSI on the weekly time frame above our midline. Now, what about exit signals here? Because this is the important part. So you want to be making sure you're able to get out if things go wrong, so that you don't have to sit and watch your portfolio go to zero. So on the opposite side of this, I also like the breakdown. So basically you can think of this as when the price loses the EMA band here to the opposite direction, to the downside, and with confluence of our RSI breaking below our midline, that can be a good signal that you're going to be in prolonged downward price action. Okay, and you can tell it does keep you safe a lot of the time, but sometimes it gets false signals, and everyone gets annoyed at false signals. But for me, it's not really a problem, because I mean, usually, not always, but usually when you get a false signal, you usually get another entry like only a couple of percentage points higher. Like say for example, look at this big COVID candle. So you sold on the close below that candle. Okay, it got that was your trade invalid. So it got revalidated here when we got that breakout, and you only lost 60%. But in the grand scheme of things, you had to buy back 60% higher after this terrible drop. But look what you ended up doing. You know, it's well worth it, guys, because usually the false breaks will not be that big in terms of the percentage lost, but the gains to the actual, when you get the big move, it's more than worth your time. Now, there is one signal that I use as a sort of early exit signal, which can help save you even more than the weekly time frame, is that I use it also on the 3-day time frame. So you can see here on the example of Chainlink here, whereas we closed below the EMA band here, and you got to sell here in February of 2025, and you saved yourself from going through that horrible loss here of 50 something percent. And again, it works quite often. Now, as I say, it doesn't work every time, but this is a way that I use to keep myself on the right side of the market. And this works for Link, it works for ICP, works for most altcoin assets. And again, the main one I use is the weekly. This is the signal you have to pay the most attention to. But as I say, you can also get early exit signals by using the 3-day time frame. So I've just walked you through a strategy that I use throughout it's basically my main investment strategy, and consistently makes me gains and keeps me on the right side of the market. So if you enjoyed that, please do consider hitting that subscribe button, clicking that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.